I'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. We're here with the one and only Kim Trueheart. This is BeMoreNews.com City Council President. How you like that title?
Hey, it is what it is. Somebody got to get up and show some leadership.
Yeah.
I'm proud that my military service has allowed me to be a leader amongst the leaderless here in Baltimore.
Is that what it is out here?
Yeah, we need leadership. We need folks who know that, from a military perspective, there's somebody looking out for the troops, and the residents of the city expect great things from our leaders, and they have failed us on so many occasions. And I'm proud to say that the work that I do shows that the people I bring together understand my role is a servant leader, to empower them, to give them everything they need to become great. I've lived my life. I get a nice little retirement check now. This is about creating opportunities for the citizens of Baltimore who have been underserved for far too long. You and I have talked about this for years and years, and nothing's changed.
So that's a great segue into this morning's Board of Estimates meeting. I saw you on television, and we had to come over to make sure we got the full story from you. What went down?
Well, let me go back to July the 10th. And that Board of Estimates meeting in July, the city was about to award a $289,000 contract to a Hispanic company to mow, cut, and clean city-owned property, specifically the wastewater treatment facilities.
And that would include Druid Hill Park. Right. That would include Hanlon Park. And
backwater treatment facilities, all of the water treatment facilities around the city.
Okay.
That's a big contract, $289,000. And my protest back in July said, y'all need to consider giving jobs to these young black men who we are maligning every day. They get accused of being disruptive. They're squeegeeing. They're out there trying to work. And let's give them legitimate jobs. In July, they went on and awarded that contract. This morning, another contract to the same company was being voted on for $40,000 to get rid of what they call invasive plants, that there are weeds basically growing around the two big reservoirs, Ashburton and Druid Hill reservoirs, and that only this one company could pull the weeds and get rid of them. And when I
do they have some kind of special magic or special pesticide or something?
Well, you can't really use pesticides because it's the reservoir. It's our drinking
water. Do they have
water.
some special techniques on grabbing weeds that maybe these young
black men can't do?
Can't master?
Oh, no. I argued that very fact, that young, black, strapping, healthy young men, properly trained and equipped, are capable of doing this work. And why the city is not giving them the opportunity is outrageous. And
this, let me just help me out. The racial, can you give me a racial backdrop on all of this? You're talking about young black men in
24 years old
in a majority black city.
Yes.
Where your interim mayor is black, where your city council president, your comptroller, black.
City solicitor.
Black.
Yeah. And they vote.
So I'm trying to understand why the Democratic Party continues to tell black people who to vote for when this is what we're getting. I don't understand. Do you understand?
I don't understand. That's why I do what I do, Donnie.
And this is not at all a plug for the Republican Party. I'm just asking, what is our return on our investment from our, the party that black people heavily support in a majority black city, I remind you.
Well, unless we go and make noise about what the status quo is, week after week, these kinds of contracts are voted on by those elected representatives, and each and every week, the outcome is the same. The contract doesn't go to help provide jobs for young blacks, those who are most needy in this city. And so this morning, I'm thankful to say that the mayor, the comptroller, and the council president delayed awarding this only $40,000 contract to get rid of the weeds around Druid Hill and Ashburton Reservoir, with the express direction that they would sit down and have a dialogue with me about employing the young men that I've trained and equipped to do this kind of work.
So this is indeed a victory for the people.
It's a big victory, yes.
Good deal. Anything you'd like to add?
We're capable. I say we because I have embraced these young people in ways that right now I have a waiting list of other young men. I took 14 young brothers off the corners. I brought them in one Saturday afternoon. I interviewed each one of them. I talked to them about what being a professional was, about having a career, developing your skills and capabilities.
And I saw some of them on television with you today at the hearing.
Yes.
They had the uniforms on. I think you showed me a shirt and
yeah.
Hat.
We spent
steel toe boots.
Yeah, over $4,000 buying the equipment and the uniforms to ensure that they were working in safe environments, that they themselves were safe. We trained them. We got them occupational safety and health training. I brought in a
OSHA.
certified OSHA instructor to teach them how to be safe in the workplace.
It's beautiful,
They
Kim.
got certified.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah. We also brought in a certified CPR, first aid, and AED, that's the defibrillator instructor, who certified them. These young men now have credentials that they can put on their resumes and take to apply for credible jobs, but nobody's giving them the opportunity. And I'm going to stand tall and show some leadership to ensure that they get credible jobs with benefits out of this project.
Well, there's a big question on the street, I must tell you. The big question is, are you going to put your hat in the ring for the city council presidency?
Donnie,
it's a huge undertaking, and you already do a lot, but you got to admit, I mean, if ever there was a time for a city council president that understands, I mean, I get so sick and tired of hearing about the Squeegee kids, because when I pull up to North and 83, it's not the Squeegee kids that concern me. It's the white addicts that come up to my car, and the white addicts who are walking in my alley at 11 o'clock at night that the news media doesn't seem to see.
Right. This is about leaders who care about the people, and whoever is going to run for public office needs to demonstrate that they are leaders, that they know the needs of the people. We can't keep saying we're going to lock everybody up. The police department, as we know, has the biggest budget of any city agency. They can't solve crime because crime is not the only ill in this city. We have poverty.
I just saw on the same news broadcast a $17 million project down at Rash Field. $17 million. And then I'm looking at Penn North, I'm looking at Freddie Gray 2015. I'm looking at nothing that has come to that area that was traumatized,
That's right.
not a dime. But they just put 17 million down at Rash Field, and nobody says a word in a majority black city.
Well, I beg to differ because I protested that award as well. And I went down there and I said, this award says that you interacted with the community and got community input.
There's no
I said,
community really around Rash Field.
That's right, exactly.
You got to go a few blocks
Yeah.
in several directions,
Right. But
or at least three.
They claimed in the justification for that 16 million that they had
Well, see,
interacted with the community
and
got
this is
input from
this
us.
this is exactly the problem with Baltimore,
Yep, yep. We keep doing the same stupid stuff over and over.
expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Good deal.
And so I am trying to change the dynamic. And while I have not put my hat in the ring to run for public office this go around, I still have until February 26th, I think it is, to make a decision as to whether I'm going to run.
Breaking news right here on BeMoreNews.com.
In 2016, I waited until the very last day to file to run. And I only had a 90-day campaign, but I managed to get 37,000 votes. If I do it again this year, I'm hopeful that if I go that route, that people will realize that leadership matters in this city, and the lack thereof is why we are where we are.
Keep watching BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
Thank you, Donnie.